Hi, Gay DeRusso with the Majestic Rider here today with Bender. This is the Rocky Mountain horse that I was working on lengthening his flat walk. It's better, but it's still got a ways to go. And we're working on getting his saddle gait here. And he's doing really well. He does have his little temper tantrums at times that he doesn't want to do something. That's just a young horse thing. So no, if your horse is having temper tantrums, that's normal. You got to work through it and don't let them get what they want because they're just like children. Because if they do get what they want, then of course it's going to get worse. So get help if you have a young horse and it's starting to act up and do things. Okay, so I'm going to show you a little bit of his flat walk. At times he goes more towards that fox walk or gets a little bit kind of on the trotty side. And he can shorten his step up. I like when I'm going over the poles to try to get him to reach out over the poles. So I do work on the poles with him to build up his hindquarter and his top line and his stifles. And I try as I get to the poles to lengthen his stride. So if you've been doing poles and your horse is still pacing or not getting stronger, a lot of times it's because they're adding an extra step when you get to the poles instead of reaching out. So carry a stick, drive them forward, because there, he added just a little extra step there, okay? So you're trying to get them to reach out with their legs over the pole, not add in another step. That's not going to do anything for you. All right. But you can see his flat walk is getting faster. He's starting to get his ears flopping a little bit when he stays in the rhythm, but he does get distracted a fair amount. So as he pays attention more, gets a better work ethic, we'll get more ear flopping and more lengthening of his stride, because some of it now is just him not wanting to do it or not paying attention. So when you see his head down and then it comes up, it's just him testing and seeing what do I have to do to get this lady to leave me alone. So his saddle gait is getting much better. It might start off bad, it usually does, and then it gets quite good. So I'm going to show it to you. And again, this is the one that's very trotty. So what we're going to do is try to get it and then smooth it out and get him in a good frame. Okay, so here we go. So hands up, sit back, add leg. Nothing's happening, so you see me tap him. Come on, wake up, Bender. Because he can kind of screw around, and you got to get on his case. So this is not good. You'd think, how is that better, Gay? It's going to get better in a minute. Just hang on. This is just how it goes when you get them back into work and they don't feel like doing it, and you had a day off. So again, you're going to see I'm going to hold a fair amount of contact. I'm getting after him because he's just being a butt. This is not good. But I want you to see it because your horse is going to do stuff like this. You got to work through it. So when he's going left or right, I'm just holding him. I'm pushing him. You see I'm hitting him with my right heel and spur because he's still not going. Starting to get better. So I released a little. We don't want to canter yet. Kind of in between cantering and gaiting. So see him kick out? He's like, I'm not doing that. So I spun him around like, well, do this instead. See, now all of a sudden he's better. He's like, oh, I forgot. It's her. So he's got to lengthen his stride a little bit. Instead of going so up and down, and he's got to hold his frame. He can do it. He just doesn't want to do it. So it's getting better. And he fades to the right, and so when I get after him, he's like, no. There we go. So you're going to see a fair amount of jiggling still with me. And some of you might think I'm being a little bit mean, but I know this guy pretty good. He's dominant. He's a tester. He will get out of work if he can. And if he knows he can't, he's a very good horse. But that's what happens when you get a young horse. You don't always know what it's going to be. Now, I'd like to give him a break, but he's not doing anything right. Okay, so he's just not doing good. He's not paying attention or anything. So what I'm going to do is go down to this other end, and we're going to work on his canter. I did lunge him, but I didn't get enough out of him, and there's no sense to keep screwing around. So let's just get more energy out by doing the canter. So a half halt, shift your weight to the outside left leg. Kind of pumping to get the canter. There we go. I've been working on slowing his canter down and getting collected. This is his difficult way. To the right. And some of this stuff is harder for him, but he's got to work through it. I'm his coach. I'm like, come on, Bender. You can do it. Come on. So he's cutting in. He's getting heavy on his front end, so I'm going to slide the bit, drive my seat, hit him with my stick a little bit. So he's pulling, I'm just sliding the bit. There, he's pretty good. So I released. He's getting heavy, so I'm sliding the bit, pushing with my leg. Sliding the bit, go forward. It's not always easy, but nobody shows this bad stuff. Make it look perfect, and then you think, why can't my horse do it perfectly? Many don't in the beginning. It's work. You got to ride well to ride the canter. Now here's quite good. Oh. Now when I stop, I'm making him back up because he's leaning on the bit. We're going to give him a little break, not long. Check your girth. And then we'll do it again. So some of the horse, he'll go, but he's a little stubborn, and he's a tester, and so he tries to get out of stuff. And so you got to think, well, this is not working. Let me do something else. Maybe I'll do something harder. Maybe I'll do something easier. See what works for you, okay? So let's go again. He's young. He's in shape. He's got lots of energy. It's just getting him to use it in the right way and not in the bad way. Canter. So I'm starting to pump to help him. So if you pump, it just gets the horse sometimes to follow your motion. This is a nice canter now. Not doing anything except balancing myself, holding there when he came up in the air, and lightening with my hand, being very soft when he's doing the right thing, but I'm balancing myself. So I'm like, Bender, you work on your balance, I'll work on mine. And we'll help each other. But if I was unbalanced, you wouldn't be cantering like this. So you really do got to keep yourself back, your shoulders over your hips as much as you can. Here he's drifting. Now he's heavy. He's like, I gave you one nice circle. There's good. Oh, good. So I'm going to do this 3 times. I like to do things in 3s. Usually works better with the horses. 3 it is. So we're going to give him a break and try it again. To the left, it's quite easy. So we do that second, not first. Always do the hard thing first. Get it over with, in case you decide to quit because you're having a hard time. You don't want to do the good and just get that good side better. What's the point of that? You do the bad side, get the bad side better. Okay, we'll give him another little breather, and then we'll try it again. So remember, young horses are testers. They're going to test you. Do I have to do it with you? Can I scare you? Can I kick out? Can I be a jerk? Is that going to make you get off? And you can get off. If you're scared and you think you're going to get hurt, you get off. But when you get off, unleash the hounds from hell. That means you get off, you round pen them, you sending exercise, back them around the arena, make them go over the poles nonstop. Make it worse when you get off, not better. And so you never have to stay on the horse to correct them. You can do it all from the ground. You can do their gaits from the ground. You can do the canter from the ground. But you work them. Don't put them back in that stall unless you're going to tie them up and not feed them for several hours. So you always have to think, how could I make it miserable for him? Because he just made it miserable for me. That wasn't nice. And they're just like children. They're testers. That's why you take their iPhones away and their computers and those things. Like, how can I make them learn a lesson that it wasn't nice to mess with mom? Okay, half halt, shift my weight to the left leg canter. Start pumping. And he's got it. Very nice canter. So he tries when he wants to. Good job, Bender. Good boy. So see, he did 2 very nice circles. He tried. He didn't throw a fit. So now we get to stop cantering that way. Good job. That was good. Yes. But remember, don't accept mediocre. Practice, make it better until it gets to the best. So a little break. We're going to do our turn on the haunches, and then we are going to canter the other way. I don't want his breaks to be too long. Look, he knows what we're doing next. He's very smart. He's memorized it. So, see him going? It's okay that he started it. We're just going to finish it. There we go. Actually, let's do a 360. Okay? So I think it's okay when they anticipate they're trying to do the right thing. So I don't punish them for it, but when I did the second half of the turn, if it was great, I would have stopped, but it wasn't. It was not great, so that's why I did the 360. Okay, so we're going to half halt, shift my weight to the right, and then right leg when I'm asking for the left lead canter. Here we go. Canter. So pump. Good boy. So not every horse can get the canter from the saddle gait. It's, here he's heavy, lean back, slide the bit, get him back to you, then release. And he's got to bend a little more. He's got to get his weight on his outside because he's kind of fallen in. That was pretty good. So let's stop. So you see I stopped much earlier this direction because he's doing better and he's not screwing around. Each horse is different. If you have a pacey horse and it's saddle gaits, you might not get that canter because your horse is already pretty lateral and it has to go diagonal for the canter. But the trotty horses, when they do the saddle gait, still just a little diagonal hiding in there. So it's very easy just to pump and get them to fall into that canter. Get your gait elope, which is a half canter, half gait, and then just a little bit more leg, a little bit more leg, and then you'll get your full canter. So let's try it again. Sometimes with those trotty ones, if you try to get it from a walk, they just fall into a hard trot, and that's not fun either. So half halt, shift my weight, canter. He's trying to saddle gait, and that's okay. I'm not going to punish him. He's learning. I just get after him when he's being a butthead, though. So lean back, keep your weight back, shoulder over your hip. If you don't have good balance, you have to learn this first before you expect your horse to canter well, because if you flop all over and don't know how to balance yourself, they can't balance themselves and they just start running faster to try to catch your weight. Now his head's getting a little low. You might think that's nice. It's not, because he got a little heavy. I could feel him leaning on the bit like, Gay, I'm getting tired. You carry me now. I'm like, no, you get stronger, Bender, and you carry me. That was good. Oh, okay. Let's back up. Let's do our turn on the haunches. Okay. So he did good enough for the left, don't you think? I think he did good enough. So now I'm going to go to the saddle gate and see if I still have that jerky horse I had 5 or 10 minutes ago, or I have a better horse now. Like, that wasn't much of a break. No, it wasn't. Let's see what happens now. Okay, here we go. Now he might think canter. So I might have to settle him a little bit. So I'm going to come back down here so he knows we're not cantering. See how much better he is? Now he's gait eloping, so half halt, sit back. So he's carrying me better. I don't have to sit back as far to get this gait. It's smoother outside the arena. Remember, the arena footing makes it more trotty. So he's just gait eloping some of the time. So what I'm trying to do is get him out of it, get him back to saddle gait, and then we'll increase our speed a little bit. He's falling into the right. Now he's falling left. So you got to be able to hold them straight and bend them. I'm keeping a straight line on my reins, but it's a light pressure. Hold when he canters. There he cantered, and then he dropped his head and gaited. So I gave a big release going, well, that would be nice. I think it with your head a little lower and not trotting and not cantering. That was good. So there I was loosened up a little bit. But some of the times I loosen up and he gait elopes, so I can't let him do it. Right there. Good. Whoop. And he's not pulling on the bit. So now I'm going to give him a break, and then we'll try it again. But see, some of the things where you're watching and you're like, something's wrong with that horse. See him jumping up and down? See this? See that? See his head turning? Sometimes it is something's wrong, and sometimes they're just being a jerk. You got to figure that out, so you got to know your horse. He's just being a jerk. So even though I lunged him beforehand, it was not hard enough. And he's getting in much better shape now. And he's testing. Even though I'm a trainer, he's like testing. He's like, do I have to do it? And I was like, yeah, you got to do it. You want to fight? Let's go ahead. Let's see who wins. Because I'll just give him harder jobs to do. You don't have to be bigger, better, stronger. You just got to be smarter. Okay, so let's try it again before he forgets what we're doing. So I'm going to try to frame him up first and then add the speed. Before I was picking his head way up, but now we're changing it because he's getting better. So there he tried to bring it way up. So it's better. It's still a little jarring, but for him, this is much better because you didn't feel what he was like when I started him. But he does get crooked. I got to hold him straight. A lot of the horses that won't keep their heads down or aren't keeping the gait, they're going right and left and you're not catching it. You got to hold them right in between your legs. Remember, you're trying to become one with them. They're trying to wiggle out to try to get out of work, and you're like, we're becoming one, like Avatar. So let's hook it up and stay together. So he's got to stay straight right underneath me. Now I'm going to try to add a little bit more speed. He fell right. I don't know if you could see that. He's gait eloping. Okay, I'm going to stop him. Oh, that was a big stop, Bender. So, have to be careful how far his head comes down. I had to have it straight up, and it was really ugly in the beginning when I first started him, and his saddle gait was very jarring in here. So I want to bring it down, but you see as I'm bringing it down, he's starting to gait elope instead of doing his gait. So I have to be careful with that. Some horses in time you can bring it down. Sometimes it takes years. Sometimes you can't bring it down at all, or they just start cantering or trotting. So you have to see what they can do at that stage and then just keep trying to make it better. But again, he might always have his head up here to hold that gait, and that's okay. Each horse and each person has their natural abilities. You have to accept what they are, try to make them better, and not try to make them something they're not, because they can't do that, okay? It's just too hard. This is nice. I'm sliding this bit a little bit when he starts to gait elope, and I try to sit back more to help him not fall into the gait elope or the trot. Now I'm going to go a little bit further around the arena. See if the camera follows this or not. So the right side, whoops, keep going, Bender, is his weaker side. And it is for a lot of horses because everybody goes left with them. They go in the arena, they're like, I'll warm up, and they just go left while they're in there, and then they go out on the trail. So why would it get stronger? So that's why I'm always going to his right first. He just keeps gait open. That's better. With some of the trotty ones, if you really slide that bit back and forth, kind of zigzag them a little bit, it'll get them out of that trot. So you try different things. You try doing the shoulder in, because sometimes that works on the trotty ones. That's a little jarring, but he has the correct gait. I slide the bit a little bit. That might get him back. There you go. So there's lots of different things you can try, but you got to keep that rein a little bit straight. So if you watch Cayenne's video, he's kind of the opposite. He's a little lazy. Cayenne's sweet, lazy, not really stubborn. Just a little bit, he's grown into himself. This guy's more athletic at this point, so he'll screw with you more. And he's more dominant. He's not as sweet. So he's going to test more. Cayenne just might pull you over the grass. Hey, let's go eat something. Okay, so I feel like that's all I'm going to get out of him today, so we'll try to the left and see if we get better. Sometimes when they're spunkier, see, I wore him out a little bit, but when they're spunkier, it's windy or crazy out there, they'll be more up, and you'll get better gait out of them, especially if they're trotty. Lots of horses like this, they're great, they're brave, they're dominant, and so they will mess with you, and you got to know that. But they usually make good leaders in the end. They're usually brave by themselves. So, of course, they have to have their downsides. And when you're buying horses, that's a good thing to ask, which not one person has ever asked me, no matter how many times I say this on video, is ask if the horse is dominant or submissive and know what you are. If you're a very kind person, you don't like to get after things, and you're like, I am never going to hit a horse, you need submissive. If you're like, I like a challenge. He fights with me, I'll ride him harder. He does something on trail, I'll take him 3 hours longer. You're dominant. Get a dominant horse, because the submissive ones might bore you. There's certain things that we should all work on ourselves, but also try to get the match of the horse. Stop looking at the color, people. I know who you are. Every time I have a horse with color, they contact me, and I go, no, I don't think this is the right fit. So see, I'm wiggling. He's saddle gaiting. He's lighting the bridle right now, so it's very light contact. That's one finger. But it's a little up and down, because that's what he gets. He starts shortening his stride. So I'm going to have to do with his saddle gait what I tried to do with his flat walk, is get him to lengthen it more. And I'm going to be able to do that probably more on trail, so I won't be able to show it all. What else can I tell you? So if a horse has a bad side, so his is his right side, when I circle to the right, which was just the other direction I was going, they're going to fall in. But then when you go left, which I'm going right now, they're going to fall out. So you got to always help that weaker side until that weaker side gets stronger. But see, his head used to be all over the place. So it's getting better. It's just not perfect yet. So you'll see times where you're like, ooh, he looks nice. Look at that. And then you'll see times where you're like, ooh, look at that. Oh, that's just normal. Okay, that's pretty good. We'll give him a break. Now, he fell in when I stopped to give him a break. I want him to learn, don't fall in. So let's side pass and push you back over. You really do need to teach your horse to move lateral off your leg, which means sideways. So the leg yield, the shoulder in, the side pass. So when they're getting crooked, as I'm riding around and he's going like this with his body, I can close that leg and block that door. I can close that leg and block that door. If he's going back and forth, I can close both legs and go, I got you. I got you right here. You stay here. Figure it out. Now I'll lighten up. I'm not going to carry them forever, but somebody has to show him what to do. He has no clue. He's like, I don't know. So that's why you want to ride them right in between your hands and your legs. Become one with the horse. Pretend their legs are your legs and feel it. To establish feel, which is difficult for people, if you're stable enough, it's good to ride in a bareback pad. They do have stirrups on some, so if you're not a good rider, you're getting back to this, make sure your horse is safe, do it in a round pen, and use a bareback pad that has stirrups. Because without the saddle, you can feel a lot more. You can feel their motion going back and forth. You can feel when they're starting to get trotty. And you can feel their other gaits much better. Some saddles like this, that's why I like Crestridge, I can feel him pretty good underneath me. But I've gotten in some, a lot of people like the Specialized. I don't so much because I've gotten in them and I can't feel the horse this much. It's too much off of them. So I like to feel the horse underneath me. I used to ride hunter jumper with close contact saddle, so I could feel them quite well. If you can't feel what they're doing underneath you because of the saddle or you have no feel, it makes it much harder to get the gait. So start practicing in a bareback pad and feel where the horse is, and you can also feel where your seat bones are as well, because you have to have your weight right on your seat bones. These are your seat bones right here in the middle of your butt. You want your weight even, because some people ride crooked, and that will affect your horse and its gait, so you want to keep it even and just kind of drape your legs down and around the horse like this. We put our heels down because it helps to drape your leg down. But your heels can be like this. Just don't do this, because when you point your toes down or you're like this, you're pinching with your knees and it throws the balance off. All right, here we go. So, not forward. He's got the gait. I'd like it a little bit faster now. Good boy. But see, much better attitude. You don't see him kicking out at me, and we're not fighting anymore. But I rode him through that. I could have got off and just lunged him more. That was an option. So again, it'll look a little jarring in here, but it's getting better. And you'll see as I'm doing this, because I'm sitting back to try to help him because he's trotty, my legs are going to go forward. They're not going to stay underneath me as much. And I'm kind of pushing down on my stirrup at times to wiggle to try to get him in my rhythm. Remember, I did that with the canter. You can do that with the saddle gait too. Push right, left, or left, right, whichever one. Okay, not bad. He fell left, didn't he? So let's push him back out. So you can get your side pass done while you're doing your other work. You don't have to separate it all. You can even, as you're running around the arena, you're like, I don't have a lot of time. And Gaye said I should do shoulder in, leg yield, all the stuff. Like, well, make a circle and spiral it out. That's a leg yield. Spiral it back in. And then just turn their shoulders a little bit. That's your shoulder in. And you do that 2 or 3 times around, you're done. Go the other way. Get it all done at the same time. You don't teach it all at the same time because it's confusing. But once the horse knows how to do it, then yes, you can. You can do a lot of stuff. You want them to be an extension of you. This is your partner. You want them to be your legs in case something happens to your legs. And that's the most unique feeling, is when you can feel their legs moving up underneath you and it feels like your legs. You ever talk to runners and they're like, you ever get the runner high? And you're like, no, what are you talking about? Well, it's because we never ran far enough. Just like you might not have ridden long enough. So they get that high and then they just keep going. And you're like, how can you run 10 miles? And they're like, you just do. You just keep going. So it's with the horse. I can feel his legs moving directly underneath me. It feels like I'm jogging in place because he's not moving forward and it's got that little wiggle to it. So now I'm going to go around the arena. I'd like his head a little lower, but again, he can't get everything at the beginning. And there he got very up and down, if you didn't see that. So I don't want to stop when he's kind of being a pogo stick. I want to try to lengthen it, so that's why I'm going over here to try to get somewhere to go. And that's why a lot of, when they're racking them and stuff, they go down the roads. They're going somewhere. Get that horse to open up. You can't open up so much in an arena. I'm taking my feet out of the stirrups to see if I can help him a little more. But sometimes holding your stirrups when they're jarring and doing this stuff is hard enough. Now he's gait eloping. Oh, that was good. A couple of steps and then he leaned on the bit. Okay. Now, I could be done, but I'm going to try it one more time because I'm a sucker for trying to make it better. It's like, Gaye. I don't mind the challenge. That's why I'm a trainer. I like it. I like to see, can you understand what I'm saying? How much do I got to push you? I've had a fair amount of dominant and aggressive horses, and horses people couldn't deal with get better, but some of them, it's just the wrong fit. It's better to get rid of the horse than put yourself at risk. And it doesn't even matter if the trainer fixes it. If you're not a dominant personality that's going to stay after that horse, it's all going to come back. So don't even bother. Just find a better owner for the horse. It's the same thing if you have a really spooky horse and you're a really scared person. That's a horrible fit. Get rid of that spooky horse. That spooky horse needs someone not afraid of anything, someone who laughs when horses spooks, and someone who's going to help it, expose it, and ride it a lot. Take it all over the place. Not someone who's scared of it, leaves it in the stall so it becomes spookier. And not someone who, when they see something, they cringe like that, because then the horse cringes, and then the horse spooks, and they fall off because they're all tense. They need someone who goes, hey, something's coming. I'm just going to shorten up because this guy's a butt. And I'm going to help him through it because he don't know what he's doing. So remember, there's horses for each person, and some of you are hanging on horses that aren't right for you, and they're just going to sit in the yard. Oh, that's what I was going to talk about. So this is pretty good. It's not fast, but the form is good. Remember, get the form, get the footfall. Oh, we're going to quit. Whoa. Now, there, did you see him lean on it? He was very light, and then he leaned. Now he won't back up fast enough. So, let's go again. So if I go to stop because they were being good, and then they do something bad when I stop, then I don't stop. Whoa. Now he went left. That's okay. He keeps doing that because he's waiting to do something else. And I have been doing side passing. So many of them think if I start side passing, she'll be done. So that's good. That was good enough for us. And he's coming along nicely. But he's a young horse. Always make sure you unclip or put a bandana here that's orange or red. The thing with the young horses is a lot of people get them that shouldn't get them. You're not used to training horses. But, they're young and calm, so you think they can handle it. They still need training or they're going to get bad. And you need access otherwise to a trainer at least once a week or more to help you to get through all these different stages. Otherwise, you can send them into a trainer and then you can work with the trainer to get to the point that you can do it alone. I've done that with many people, even beginners, but sometimes I've had those horses 6 months and they're coming every couple of weeks to learn, and then, I check on them on home or, we do online lessons. So with the young horses, if you get one, what you want to do is ahead of time, get your trainer, get your help, make sure you have an arena, make sure you have an around pen, somewhere you can ride that horse and practice things until you feel safe. Because just going out on the trail with a horse that is untrained and doesn't know anything and is spooking at things is very scary and is going to destroy your confidence. Then what happens is that horse, like him, he's 5, right? So 5 to 15, probably going to be the best years of his life. After that, it will be the best years of our life, because at 15, he's, of course, going to probably be a phenomenal horse, because he's going to have seen a lot, have lots of muscle, gait well, and he'll be a great horse at that point. But the best years for the horse When they can do the really hard trails and they can go for long periods of time is when they're younger. So again, that could be from 5 to 15. See, I'm not just mean to him. I'm quite nice at times. And so you don't want that horse to sit in a pasture and lose all those good years, which many people do. They're either working, they don't have time, and the horse just sits there and sits there. If your horse has been sitting for a year, it's time to let go. Because even though you'll say next year, I'm going to get him out next year, you're not. You would have either sent him to a trainer, you would have rode him yourself, or done something. So it's best just to be like, going to sell him and let someone else make this nice horse, and I'm going to get an older horse because I don't have any time. But don't let them sit there for the next 5 to 10 years in your field, and then you finally go, you know what, he's totally untrained. He's still green because I never rode him. I'm going to sell him to someone else. Now he's a 15-year-old green horse with bad attitude because he's never had to work for 10 years. Please don't do that. It's just ruining the horses. It's the worst things for them. If you're going to get a young horse, you got to be prepared. Do all those things ahead of time before you get the horse. Be ready, have a plan, and then work it out. All right, we'll stop talking now. Remember to like and subscribe. I have more videos coming so you guys can learn more and I can help you, and I hope that helped you today. All right, good luck with your gaited horse.